Okay, we are live on our video conference, so I am going to call this public hearing to order. Welcome everybody to the Fort Covington Adult Center. Today it's December 1st, 2022, and this public hearing is related to Covington Solar 1 LLC. I'll note the time as 2:05 p.m. That's the time at which this public hearing is open. Pursuant to and in accordance with General Municipal Law Section 859-A, the County of Franklin Industrial Development Agency is conducting this public hearing in connection with a certain proposed project as more fully described below, to be undertaken by the agency for the benefit of Covington Solar 1 LLC. The agency published a notice of public hearing and delivered a copy of the notice of public hearing to each affected taxing jurisdiction. An affidavit of publication and proof of delivery will be attached to this public hearing agenda and transcript. Covington Solar 1 LLC, for itself and or on behalf of an entity or entities to be formed, has submitted an application to the agency requesting the agency's assistance with a certain project or projects consisting of 1, the acquisition by the agency of a leasehold interest in approximately 10.1 acres of real property located at State Route 37 in the town of Fort Covington, New York, being more particularly described as a portion of tax parcel number 23.3-2.100, as may be subdivided. 2, the planning, design, construction, and operation of a 2 megawatt AC solar electrical generation system, including panel foundations, inverters, transformers, interconnect wiring, utility connections, site work, landscaping, fencing, security, and related improvements. 3, the acquisition of and installation in and around the land and improvements by the company of machinery, equipment, fixtures, and other items of tangible personal property. And 4, entering into a straight lease transaction within the meaning of subdivision 15, section 854 of the Act, pursuant to which the agency will retain a leasehold interest in the facility for a period of time and sublease such interest in the facility back to the company. The agency contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in the form of A, an exemption from all state and local sales and use taxes with respect to the qualifying personal property included in or incorporated into the facility or used in the construction and equipping of the facility, and B, partial real property tax abatement, through which a payment in lieu of tax agreement, pursuant to which the company would make payments in lieu of real property taxes to the agency for the benefit of each affected taxing jurisdiction. Attached to this agenda will also be the cost-benefit analysis worksheet, which is available for a review at this public hearing. At this time, I would open the floor to members of the public, either in person here or on the video broadcast, who would like to make any comments related to this project. Yes, so what we're going to do is we're doing project 1 right now, and then we'll close it, and then we'll do the same thing for project 2. The Meyer property is Covington Solar 2. Yes. Yep. Okay, so if there are no comments from anyone right now, What we'll do is we'll leave this public hearing open for just several minutes. And in case anyone arrives who might arrive late, and then we will adjourn the public hearing and start the other. Sure. Paul, can you speak up as much as possible so it gets to the microphone? I can't. Okay. Question.
I'm not hearing him.
Move this over a little bit.
Barton, I think that if you wouldn't mind, the question was just kind of for the actual construction of the project was the question. Is that something that you could answer?
As far as the timeline and how long it'll take?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I can answer that. So the real work is done in sort of 3 or 4 months, like as far as the installation goes. But, you know, from the time we start, we may have to cut some trees this winter. You know, obviously we're not going to start construction in the middle of the winter. And then on the tail end of the project, there's usually a sort of a delay on turning the system on while we communicate with, in this case, National Grid. But the real heavy, you know, construction part will be sort of 3 or 4 months worth.
And I think you alluded to, if you're able to proceed, would start in the spring at some point. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
You're looking at roughly midsummer for the construction part to be done.
So the question was midsummer-ish as far as.
Yeah, I would say mid to end of summer. I mean, we never know when we're going to be able to actually get underway, you know, due to snow melt and mud and that kind of thing. But yeah, should be mid to end of summer.
And roughly how long does it take after you finish till you get the system up and running? You know, potential.
Yeah, couple more months usually for witness testing with the utility. So they come out and make sure our connection to the grid is working properly and in accordance with their specs. So that can be quick, but a lot of times, you know, we try and schedule it and it just takes a while for the utility to set an appointment time.
I'm sure you checked this all out. All the substations around can handle the extra power and stuff.
Yeah, we had to do, you know, that's sort of the first step in this process is make sure, you know, check with National Grid and make sure that the substation in Fort Covington can support both of these projects. There are some upgrades that we've had to make to the substation that are part of the construction process as a result of this, but they're not massive upgrades.
Pretty likely this could be up and running in the fall of 23.
Yes, definitely. That's our intention.
Okay, good. The reason I asked is, you remember we had other ones, and a lot of questions come up about Bombay, and they couldn't do it because the substation would require massive upgrades, and which it wasn't feasible.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
I've got a question from the code officer. His question is on the fencing. What style of fencing are you going to be using?
We typically either use a chain link or more recently in the sort of rural settings in upstate New York, we're using this farm fencing is what we call it, but it's just looks a little nicer aesthetically, and I think that is probably what we'll end up going with.
And another question, will you be planting any evergreens along that fencing?
I don't have the design in front of me, but I believe we planned on, on Fort Covington 1 to install some evergreens just along between the road and the array itself. Fort Covington 2 is set back far enough that we don't plan on doing any.
That sounds very good.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, that's a great question. The question was, do we have the pilot terms worked out? And Paul, if you have this sheet right here, this summarizes it, and I can just go over just the very basics of the terms of the pilot. So great question. So the proposed term of the pilot is 15 years, and that's consistent with what we've been doing for all of our community scale solar projects. And the payment per megawatt is $5,500. This is a 2 megawatt capacity project, so you can times that by 2. Every year, that's what it starts at, but every year it goes, the amount goes up by 2% over the life of the 15-year term. And then on the right, you can see, so table 2 shows that the schedule and what the pilot payments would be. That's it's this one right here on the right down in there. The kind of right in the middle where it says pilot payments for system, and then the next one says payments plus the base value. Gives you an approximation of what the total pilot payments will be each year of the agreement. And again, if we proceed, this will be the 4th project in which we're using the same exact terms. And then on page 2, Paul, I think this is really important for you as a legislator, and Pat, for you as the town supervisor. On page 2 of what I provided, what we do is we give you an estimate of what it means for each taxing jurisdiction. So if in year 1, the entire total pilot payment is $11,600, that's the entire payment. It's then distributed on a pro rata formula based on the tax rates of each jurisdiction.
I don't know if you can hear us, but you're frozen on this end.
Maria, I don't know. I can't hear them either. Maybe we just,
We lost them, but I believe they're coming back. Don't
yeah,
lose.
okay. We'll just hang on here.
Technology is wonderful. Jeremy just messaged, keep the meeting going. We are coming back online.
Hey, Maria, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. I was
I
just
think
telling
it's
you
froze
it's
up.
still live streaming. I don't need to make you host if it's still live streaming, right?
Oh, hi, Maria. Can you hear me okay? I just turned my own camera on instead of the other computer is being restarted. So I figured I just turned my camera on. If you can hear me, we'll just
Yep.
continue.
We can hear you fine.
Okay.
Do I need to make you host? It is still live streaming, so it should be good.
It's still live, so we're still good.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're all good still. Okay, so I think when we cut out, we were reviewing the cost benefit analysis. Are there any other questions related to the cost benefit analysis? Or any other comments related to this project? Are you muted? I am now. Okay. Then I am going to close the public hearing for Covington Solar 1 LLC. The transcript minutes will be kept, and we are adjourning at 2:25 p.m. So I'll close down this Zoom meeting, and we'll start up the Covington Solar 2 Zoom.
Do you want me to just hit stop live stream?